you love your job, and no matter what it does, no matter what it takes, you do that, and you love it. But like being in one of those things, it just got to him, and he just freaking shut that thing. It's like yeah. So like moving on now. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And one of the cooler parts, it's not as cool as the rocket. Well, it's pretty cool if you call freaking the robots less cool than a ship. A ship. But yeah, it's about the same, really. At least in my opinion. But the rocket was kind of like the main event sort of thing. But they actually showed a bunch of yeah. They actually showed a bunch of modules that they would launch down to the planet, and they would have to like pick them back up the landers. They had like a room, and they had a butt ton of them in there, and they had like a tourist version of Mission Control almost. It's kind of like a box. It's like a big box with windows and like a bunch of seats that you can sit down and watch, and they had like a little stuff. Yeah, and they even had like one of those things. One of them was like it was like a humanoid like robot kind of man. He had like arms and everything, but instead of legs, he had like a wheelchair sort of thing. And they said they used him and another one that they call Charlotte, which is literally a robotic spider that they use to like do things that the astronauts themselves can't fix or get to, and they use those to fix it. That was pretty cool, but unfortunately we didn't get to go down there, because we didn't get to go down there, but we got to see it from a distance. Those things look freaking creepy. If you ever seen like if you ever watched like say you're in the 1980s or the 1990s, right, and you're like checking over security footage, and you know how the quality on those things are, right? It's kind of almost like that. Like if you were to see something freaking creepy in that footage, it's almost like what that was. Looking at those things, it wasn't creepy, but it looked a little bit eerie, but they were still pretty cool because they kind of just sitting there. I know some of the landers that they had in there were retired, but those robots they had, those things weren't retired. They just had those on for display for like the moment or so. Yeah, and we actually got to go and see not Mission Control, but we actually got to see backup Mission Control. Like if things went wrong, they would like move to like a backup room. So that was pretty cool. It was much smaller. It was like the same as the area we were in, except it had like a bunch of computers and stuff. And those people were hard at work. They didn't even bother with the people that was just freaking burning holes in the back end of their head. They were just paying everybody no mind. Yeah, because it was cool because you could actually hear him exchange words and stuff. It was just like hearing them as they're about to do like the launch. But they were doing like pre-checks. They weren't actually doing a launch. They had stuff set up, but they weren't actually launching. So that was pretty cool. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. After that, I don't really remember what else we went go see, but we went see quite a few things. I don't exactly remember what else we saw, but we actually we saw quite a few things because obviously we couldn't go over the whole place, but we actually got to see like the retired area for all the ships and stuff that they retired over the years, and we got to see like a ton of them. It was like off in the it was kind of at a distance, but it was close enough to get a good look at it. So it was pretty cool. It was like you played D1, right? Oh, you didn't? You know what the Cosmodrome looks like? Okay. Yeah. It's like that, but like the places where they have all the ships and stuff, they're like they're just like there and they're like all broken down and stuff like that. It was kind of like that, except they were a little neater. They weren't just laying around. And only a few more a little rusted. Because because the guy that showed us around, he was cracking jokes about, yeah, this is retirement area for our ships and stuff. But we would be like, this is literally just like NASA's little memento field. NASA's just like a horror. They have a bunch of junk they just don't want to throw out, cause like they can like use it. Yeah, they can use it for stuff, or they could just take it down, break it down, and just use it for something else. But they didn't. They just leave it there. They just leave it sitting there. And of course, it just turned into a tourist attraction. So that was a thing. That was pretty cool. That was we actually on that trip. We actually went.
You're falling.
My mic cut
behind.
off for a moment. I accidentally disconnected.
Oh no.
We went to, like, we were at a hotel, and I didn't realize it. They actually had like a beach, like right across the street, and they had a pier that I didn't even know was there until later. And a bunch of other people went there, and we went there to the hotel, and those people, they were like coming back. It's like, oh, you want to go across the street? It's like, yeah, we want to go across the street. We're going to the store. I was like, yeah, they're just going across the street. I don't want to do that. I just want to stay here. Cause they have like pools and stuff. So, I just hung out in like the pool areas and stuff, and they came back with like seashells and stuff. It's like, where'd you get that from? It's like, oh, we went to the beach down the street. We went down the street. There was a beach down the street. It's like all this time we could have went down there, but instead of just moving around these little pools. Yeah, that just sucked. And then the pier thing, we didn't even bother with that because we had other stuff to do, and that was like almost halfway across town. So that sucked. Sorry to cut out again. But like other than that, it was actually pretty good. The whole trip. Cause like we actually went to like 3 different areas. We went to, I think it was 3 different areas. I don't remember what the. Yeah, we went to 3 different areas. Before we went to the Space Center, we went to a place right next to Louisiana, along the coast.
5
In
minutes.
it's in Texas, and yeah, it's so it's literally like
Look what you have.
along the ocean area. So yeah, and we went there, and we went to Houston, yeah. But like the third place we went to, we just went there to get through to Houston. So like Houston was the last stop, pretty much. And of course, the closer we get to the end of the vacation, the much more crappier the hotels get. So I mean, it wasn't bad. It was nice. It was a nice, humble little hotel. You like the little Holiday Inn sort of thing. We didn't go to we went to a motel. To be honest, I didn't really favor that whole motel that much. It felt like it used to be a prison, because every single room, the door to every single room had a gate on it. It had a lock, so everybody had to have a key, and I think they had to have a key ring for 2 keys, one for the locked gate and one for the door. And I think like the second key was like a key card, I think. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was a key card. And it's like at one point it used to be a whole bunker, not bunker, barracks. But then they just turned it into a prison. But then they tore it down, but it kind of like abandoned. And sometime later it got turned into a whole little motel area. So it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say it gave me phobias, but it kind of, I just didn't like it at all. Yeah, it kind of gave me like a weird vibe.
3
like freaking,
minutes. It's close.
Like freaking oh, this is where we used to kill the Koreans in the Korean War. Oh, and they used to travel all the way through Havana just to get to Galveston. Yeah, no, I didn't want to be anywhere near there. The fact that I could sleep in the bed was almost unbelievable. Like, they had like these little bunk bed areas, like they were like into the wall right next to them. They had like a little closet thing. So as soon as you walk in, you'd see the beds right next to each other,
Yes.
built into the wall,
Now show them the
like bunk
true
beds,
meaning
except
of
the
war.
top bed isn't there. And on both sides for each bed, there's like a little closet area. And they had two areas that it split off in like two areas. Like to your left is another area where the television and stuff is. They had a bed there and like refrigerators and stuff. And to your right, it was just a little bedroom area. They had like 2 extra beds, so nobody was gonna have a problem finding the bed, but few people were gonna have good dreams that night. So, at least in my opinion. But of course, like if you ever been in a situation where you not like something and everybody just gets along, like oh it's nothing, and they just hop in and it's like yeah, it's like the greatest thing ever, and you get in, it's like no, I'm not doing that. It's like oh come on, you big baby, you just do it. You're just kidding around. So I didn't really have much of a choice. So obviously I wasn't going for the bunk beds because that looks like what a cell meets used to be. And
1 minute. Time to prove yourself.
yeah. The only thing that I liked about that was the places where you eat. They were pretty decent. It wasn't fancy, anything fancy, but it wasn't cheap or corner cutting. It was nice. And the pool area, like when we where they to when I found out they had yeah, that's what we were when I found that out.
Seconds. It's not over.
The pool area, that was nice. But of course, a lot of people kept trying to find. Once they figured out there was a hot tub, as small as it was, as many people as possible tried to cram themselves into it until eventually,
This is it.
they kept getting fussed at, trying so that not to go in there or not to cram anything one at a time. And if they kept flipping out over there, they would just tell them to get out.
Your enemy has defeated.
But we didn't have to worry about it for too much longer. But somebody peed in it, or at least I think someone peed in it, because it was hot.
Victory.
And then someone was wrong with it, so it wasn't hot anymore. So we was waiting for it to cool off, warm up, and immediately after it just started getting warm. It's like we knew it didn't heat up that fast, and everyone just bailed. Yeah. So that was a thing. And speaking of which, I didn't say about the water park we went to, because like it was when we first found it, we already knew it was there. So it was first just like, oh, like yeah, we had like some pools and stuff, like a little thing, you got like a little diving board. That was pretty cool. Everybody was just hanging out, like chilled. I myself, I was like, oh yeah, it's like a little pool area. They even had like a little pseudo bar thing for like people can have snacks and stuff. And yeah, and I was like, okay, this is cool and all. I just had enough. I don't want to be here anymore. So what I did, I went back to the bus. The driver, he was a pretty cool guy, and he was like thankful that we included him in on the trip, because usually he just sat out by the bus while people would go do their thing. So we let him hang out with us, and he said he had like something to do. So I went to the bus, and we got some stuff, and I was heading back, and he joined us because he had wrapped things up and he was going to join us. And so the group that I went with, they went back to the pool area, and we were heading like by these gates, and I noticed that there was a bunch of people flipping out. It was kind of hard to hear because of all the water, So I peeped through the little fence area, the little gate thing, and I saw what looked like I think it was water guns. It was like the ball pit with the turrets, except it was water. It looked like it's like, oh no! All this time we were sitting here in like this chill generic pool area, and people were like freaking Chuck E. Cheesing it up over there. It's like, no, forget that noise. I'm having that. And so what I did, I didn't stop until I figured out how to get in there, because it's not exactly obvious. So what you had to do was you had to go back to the chill place with a pool, and so they had like a hedge in between. So I guess so people wouldn't have to put up with the other side. So what I did was I figured out that there was a door, and I opened that door. Well, not like a door, it was like a little gate thing. So I opened it up, and I went over there, and I realized it was literally just a water park on the other side. And the only reason we didn't know it was there because the water was so loud. So I went over there, and I was having a pretty decent time over there. It was like I could have stayed at the pool area. I could have stayed there for a little while till I had enough, and then I would have got out, and then we would have left. And I said, "Oh yeah, that was nice." But I'm really glad I found that place, because once I did, everyone started wondering where I was. It's like I didn't show up at all for like almost an hour, and they would go looking for me, and they realized where it was, and literally almost everybody that was at that pool area, they jumped in on that, and we just stayed there for like what? I think we had some time. We didn't have a ton of time, but like I think we stayed there for like 2, almost 3 hours. Of course, I didn't want to leave, but we had to, because we were just like there for ages. People started complaining about their hands was all pruny, so we had to yeah. So we had to leave, but like as soon as we left after, once it hit everybody, that was great. It's like once you leave, it's like, oh, that was cool, and then they go off to do other things, but then it hits them again. It's like they just come to realization that what they just did. And it's like, oh man, that was great. It's like, oh man, yeah, I'm so glad he freaking disappeared when he did. Otherwise, we would have never found that place. And they just kept going on about it halfway through the trip. We spent like almost 2 weeks. Ever since then, for like halfway through the week, that's when we did that. No, halfway through the first week, I think it was. Ever since then, up until we went to that last hotel where the kid got his glasses popped off his face, they were going on about that. Me, I was kind of happy, but I just didn't care. I was just glad I found it. What I did.
Gains the lead.
So I just did not want to be around those people. But not those people. That place anymore, because it just started getting kind of stale. And yeah. So like, I'm glad I found that. That was pretty cool. Yeah. And the thing is, that was just 2 trips. That was just 2 vacations. Oh. And yeah.
Don't spend all that ammo in one place.
It's like we did a lot of stuff, because we did quite a few vacations with those people, that group that we were with. It was like an organization almost sort of thing. Yeah. Because like we would spend quite a lot of time every time we would get ready to gear up for a vacation. We already had saved up, but we would always do like a fundraiser just so we didn't have to worry
That shut them down
about anything. And of course, when we were doing that, we did like a car wash. And the funny thing about that, the only really funny thing I have to say about that I would like to say, is that like we were like there, they were doing like a car wash and had people like going out. It's like, hey, we did like to donate or whatever, and we went up to this one guy. It's like, oh, you would like to donate and do all that stuff. We do all that stuff for like a vacation. And it's like, I forget what they said, and then he was all ready to do it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm all for group activities and whatnot. something for the kids, and something came up about ghosts. It's like, oh no, I'm not in it for the ghosts. It's like, okay, so up until someone just casually mentioned ghosts or something like that as an explanation about what's going on, sorta. It's not really ghosts, so that was kind of obvious. So like, soon as that mentions, you immediately jump from kids going out on a vacation for a good time to freaking vacation cult. Yeah, so as soon as he heard this, no, I'm not doing anything that involved the ghost, and he just rolled the window back up and just mind his own business like nothing happened. Yeah, that was stupid. Like we did like quite a few things with them. Like we went to another water park for the first time ever. I got seasick. We went to like a Chinese restaurant. Yeah, like afterwards I had like I had like a killer headache. We went to Chinese restaurants afterwards. Like, I'm like one of the people, if I don't have at least 2 to almost 3 plates, not like I'm not gonna freaking gorge like I'm living at a buffet, but if I can have at least 2 to 3 plates, and maybe like the 3rd plate, I kind of like ease off it and like have like a little bit here, maybe some salad, and then go back to dessert if I have enough room. So like, oh yeah, you're gonna be freaking picking out over there, and I was all ready for it because I like Chinese food, and as if anything I like more than Chinese food is seafood and pizza. But of course they most likely won't have pizza, which I don't think they did. So I was all about to change that stuff, and like I was all excited for it, but I had a really freaking headache. And I just couldn't take it anymore, but we had like a line because the place was almost packed. And by the time we got towards the entrance, and it would happen then, but it's a good thing we did, because as soon as we got there, I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just freaking threw up. Because it's a good thing I got there when I did, because we were right next to a trash can. And I just spent like about 5 minutes just throwing up in a trash can. And 2 people behind me was like, oh, you okay? You okay? And this little guy was like, oh, you okay? And his wife was like, of course he's throwing up. Of course he's not okay. And he's like, and I just made him freaking throttle into a panic. He's like, oh, okay.
Could
He's
go
like,
your way.
he's throwing up. Oh, I was just asking if he was okay. And they were like having their little thing. Of course, I would have laughed if I wasn't too busy throwing up.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you do with that.
But like that kind of just like ruined it for me almost. Because I couldn't eat at all. The most I could do was like save stuff for later. I tried to eat, like, you ever seen like those little things that kind of like fries, but they're like shaped like these little smiley faces, like something like that. If you have one of those things, and I got a bunch of other stuff. So at the very least, I tried eating one of those little fried dough things, but I couldn't even do that. I just literally started to throw up almost. And I had they gave me a bunch of bicarb. Yeah, they gave me bicarb Alka-Seltzer and some water. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I just wasn't thrilled at all because that stuff, it's not nasty. And if right now, I would just take that stuff because it's not exactly the most thrilling thing, but it's pretty decent, almost. It's like soda without sugar.
Gains the lead.
All this stuff, all these things I could eat. I could have all these seafood. They even had sushi there, I think. And I at the time, I never really had sushi before, and I wanted to try it. But I couldn't do that because I was too sick. So the only thing, I had to just deal with the fact that I couldn't do anything but drink Alka-Seltzer water. So that sucked. And I mean, there was some solace. We did get to play. We did have like a little arcade area. Got to play in until the hockey table broke. So what we did, what me and another dude did, we got like one of the like this little container things from like one of those little things you pop a quarter into and get like a little trinket. And what we did, we took like the cap from that and we used that as the hockey puck. And he was like, they was like, everyone who passed by, or everybody who saw what we were doing, it's like, oh yeah, y'all playing freaking ghetto